Verbally Effective with Ena is an interview-style podcast that intersects art, culture, politics, and entertainment with a Memphis focus. Each week, I'm joined by a featured guest with roots in Memphis. Verbally Effective delves into each guest's personal journey to uncover the incredible stories fueling their purpose, the highs and lows of their pursuits, and how through their passion, they are moving the culture forward. And welcome to another edition of the Verbally Effective Podcast. I'm your host, your double E, Ena Esco. You know, this is the podcast that intersects art, culture, politics, and entertainment with a Memphis focus. Now, you know I said Memphis right because I have a Memphis native in the building with me who took a trek to L.A. and is L.A. living it now. I am talking about none other than Keyanna Sawyer-Jones, the founder and CEO of Bleum Creative and So Beauty LLC. Welcome to the podcast, Keyanna.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you?
I'm quite honored. I'm great.
You're looking good, girl.
Thank you so much, and so are you.
Thank you, thank you.
I really appreciate you having me.
Yes. Now, let's talk about how we met and how we know each other.
Okay, let's do it.
Because my good Judy, my good friend,
yes.
Ari, your sister.
My sister. I love her so much.
Is one of my best friends.
Yes.
Yes. And so, and you're Ari's big sister.
Yep. By 3 years.
By 3 years.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is I have a brother that is 3 years older than me.
Okay.
So it's an interesting dynamic, right?
Mm-hmm. It is. It was like, you know, we're 3 years apart, which technically is short, but it's a long period of time because as I was like, for example, going into elementary to junior high, she was still behind me. So we were never really together at the same time. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But now we're so close and I'm excited to be here and to have her with me. Yes. You know, by my side.
I love the sibling love, ladies and gentlemen. I love it. And you know what?
Because it ain't easy, though, you know.
It ain't easy. Because, you know, siblings, we got our things about each other.
I know that's right.
You know, but you are from Memphis. And we always kick off the podcast with talking about what part of Memphis you are from. Let's start there.
North Memphis.
North.
Like, people don't even believe it because I'm like, yes, I'm from North Memphis. We were raised on Lane Avenue, and now it's just, you know, the house is torn down, but it's a junkyard.
Really?
And it was actually a junkyard when we lived there in the back of the house.
Okay, so you said Lane Avenue. Kind of give me some perspective of exactly where, because like when you think of North, you think of Chelsea Avenue, Hyde Park. Yeah. Like what area is Lane Avenue in? What's a big intersection over there?
So yeah, Chelsea, you know, Carnes Elementary.
Yes, I know Carnes.
Yep, I went to Carnes.
Yes.
Yep, so that's exactly where we were, probably about 5 minutes away from there.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm from North Memphis, and then from there, we stayed with my grandma, and my aunts. My grandma had like 8 kids, so it was really big family.
Y'all
so everybody,
have a huge family.
Yeah, we have a huge family.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Tell me about growing up in North Memphis, though. How was it for you?
You know, that's a really good question. I've never been asked that before. It was a lot of love, you know, in the sense like my grandmother was such a nurturing spirit. And she was young herself. She was very young. She started having kids at like, 13, 14 years old. So she always approached things with love and of kindness and with a lot of grace. I think that through the things that she's been through, and to be honest with you, I really believe between her and my mom, they're the strongest women I know.
Love your mom.
Yeah, because they've gone through so many things. But growing up, it was bittersweet because on one end, you were able to see what it looks like to persevere through things, but then you're still going through things, right? Yes. And so, you know, it was tough times in some regard. I don't know. I'm like thinking about things now and I kind of get teared up. Ari, my sister, she was really good about understanding things really early on. For me, it's like I build a shield, and I kind of, compartmentalize that and, put it in the back of my mind.
I understand.
Yeah. So that was my way of like going through things that were challenging. And, obviously my mom was great, but she struggled a lot with my dad. And my dad was incarcerated most of my life. So being a single parent with 2 kids, and having our community of, my grandmother and my aunties, they were really great because they were a group of supportive women, and you can't tell a Sawyer woman what not to do because they really...
I get that. I see that.
Yeah, they're really strong-willed, very strong-willed.
Yeah.
But growing up, to really, summarize it, I would say that looking back on it, I learned how to be strong through the things that we went through as a kid, and my mom having to be a single parent and to, really navigate life as such with 2 young girls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what did the young Keyanna always want to be when she grew up?
Honestly, I didn't. I loved fashion and beauty. I loved it. I was one of those girls. Yeah, when I was little, I wanted to wear dresses in the middle of a snowstorm. So that was me. And I would fight with my mom and be crying if I didn't have on a dress in the middle of, rain and sleet and snow. That was me. And so I really didn't have an idea of what I wanted. I just knew I had this burning desire to be more than what the current circumstance, right? Like I knew it was something, I just didn't know what. Early on, like I liked things like home decorating and organizing, and I'm a Virgo, so...
Virgo, my mom is a Virgo.
Yeah, so I don't know. Some things about... yes. So very, particular. I love to plan events, host, all that stuff is what I really touched on when I was younger, but didn't have the resources to really, expand on that. Now that I'm older, I'm able to tap into those things that I'm really passionate about. But honestly, I had no idea when I was younger, had no idea. I ended up getting into modeling.
Okay.
Because I was tall and super skinny. Anybody knows this, know that I have no meat on my bones.
So is this something that you wanted to do, or did someone in your family or a friend push you in that direction?
It was really both. It was something that John Casablanca was a modeling school at the time.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I had... I was approached by someone and they were like, you should totally do this. And I was young. I'd never heard about it. My mom was like, okay, well, if you want to try it, you can. And I did. And that was the first time that I really saw people that really embraced me. I believe in high school, really junior high and high, I really didn't have a group of people that I felt like that understood me and where I fit in. I definitely didn't feel that. And I would really gravitate to relationships that really didn't serve me any purpose or to my greater good. And that was, I think, a default of me not having any direction at the time, my father not being in the house, so not having a sense of value and not really appreciating my mind and my heart and, the things that really matter. And so when I got to John Casablanca, I felt like, oh, okay, here's an avenue that I feel like they get me in some way. And so that's how the modeling journey began.
Were there a lot of women or young ladies that looked like you when you joined John Casablanca?
So looked like me in terms of being tall and thin, but not black, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that
not
was
black.
Not black. Not
Okay.
black. Yeah. It was really interesting because it's not like we had a whole community of like, what we call our peach friends. We didn't have a lot of peach friends. As a matter of fact, I didn't have any. Okay. So going there did open me up to this idea of having a network and a community outside of just what I was familiar with. And again, it was a sense of like me building something that I felt like that they understood me.
Okay, so how did it feel walking down the runway? I mean, confidence on 10, or what we don't know.
It wasn't like that. No.
Insecure.
I was very insecure. I was super thin. I had come from, a space where I didn't really like. I wasn't loving. So in the beginning, when I first started, I loved the fact that there were other people that looked like me, but it took a minute to like really build the mindset, right? And confidence really is all about like the belief in yourself. And I didn't have that in the beginning. As much as like I had a group of strong women in my family, I really didn't have like this, a constant tutoring of, or not even tutoring, but coaching just into me developing as a young woman. Yeah. And so I had to do that, along with just self-reflection. But yeah, girl, when I was younger, it was no like, I'm, confident and sexy. I mean, I got that later on down the road. Yeah. Gotcha. I remember in college, I was in the Kappa pageant. Okay. And girl, I was this thin and I had on like a dress with all the cutouts.
I bet you were cute though.
I was very cute, yeah. Okay. And nobody could tell me nothing. At that time, I got my confidence that I was okay with being thin,
Okay, and that was at University of Memphis.
Yeah.
Okay, so how was it going to U of M?
It was great. I mean, again, still, I wasn't able to finish school in the way that I wanted to because of finances, but I believe that was really the beginning, or I wouldn't say the beginning, but it was along my journey of building out what the world looked like, because I was able to see more than just my immediate community. And of course, my desire to do more really catapulted.
Yes, and college Keyanna, U of M Keyanna, what did your circle of friends look like?
What did my circle of friends look
like? The one or two or more you had.
Wow. So I was in a relationship during my time.
Look, that was your friend, the relationship.
Yeah, my relationship. And that was a crazy relationship. Okay. I can't believe I'm even saying that, but it was crazy. But that was also a learning lesson for me of what to accept as a woman and really creating like my values and what I wanted to see for my life, not just for short term, but like for the future. Like, what does that really look like? So my friends then, it was an evolution of me finding myself. And I knew that during that period of time, I was going through a lot of, so to kind of piggyback on some things, I believe that in my high school and college years were probably some of my most intense in terms of my own personal development. Yeah. I found myself looking for love in the wrong places and not having a really true sense of value. And while I might have been finding like, oh, I love modeling and all of that, I really wasn't connecting that or tying that to, you have to protect yourself. You have to really, honor your body and honor yourself. And that was something that I really went through during that time. I didn't have... I know most women, or I won't say most women, but we can all look back on our lives and say we made a lot of poor decisions.
Oh, yeah, and that's the time to make them.
And that's the time. Well, I did, girl.
I did, too. Middle school, high school.
Yeah.
Because we're really trying to discover who we are.
Yes.
No matter what our home situation looked like. Because guess what? It could have been a home full of super supportive, nurturing, all the things, all the lessons on being a woman, but you're still going to make some crazy choices.
You're still going to make some crazy choices.
And that is the time to make them.
I am thankful that I did make them in my high school and my college years. I'm very thankful. As I look back and I'm like, oh, wow, I'm 42 now, and I've been married for going on 14 years, but I met him actually when I was at U of M, or I was coming out of U of M in 2004. So he's from Arkansas, and I think he was the best thing that came into my life.
Okay, hubby. Okay,
yes,
hubby.
Yes.
I love it.
He's amazing.
Before we get into hubby.
Okay.
and what happened after U of M. I
Yes.
do want to mention, because a little birdie told me that, because you was the fashion girly at
Yep.
U of M, and you actually got some fashions from Rich Fresh, one of my good friends, Patrick Henry.
Patrick Henry.
Where did you purchase from Patrick? Tell me about the fashion relationship there.
Oh my God. I would see Patrick just out, and we ended up connecting, and I had created an event back in 2007. But we had been friends prior to then. He would do tailoring for me, and he was just a really cool guy, him and his brother. We would just pretty much see each other out, and not really like a detailed friendship, but we would see each other out and build upon that through working together with Couture for the Cure. And I created that. So I forgot to mention, I'm like, oh my God, there's so many things. My memory, I'm improving upon. I was just talking to my sister about.
You get in them 40s.
I know.
You get a little foggy.
Get a little foggy.
40s.
Oh my God. So I created Couture for the Cure, and it was a fundraiser for St. Jude. And at the time, I was working for a company. It was basically like a sales agency, and they were responsible for getting a lot of the multicultural brands into retailers, like, Walmart, CVS, Rite Aid. They would be, responsible for that, and we would manage their business inside those retailers.
Like the intro of DEI.
Not
really.
Not really.
Multicultural,
but
real
it was
broad.
multicultural in terms of they had products for the multicultural audience.
Okay.
And so this was right before I had the crazy idea of moving to LA. I was like, I really want to, I love philanthropy. And I think now I'm on the beginning journey of what that looks like in this chapter of my life. But back then, I created Couture for the Cure, and I wanted to have like the up and coming designers at the time in Rich Fresh, because we had, built a rapport. He was able to debut his first line at the show, and it was at the Gibson Guitar Factory. I heard that it's no longer. But we did it on the rooftop. Yeah, it was amazing. We did it on the rooftop. It was fabulous. We had a couple of other local designers. We had Fatima. She was on America's Next Top Model. Yeah. So it was really amazing. And I knew that, Patrick is super talented. And
super.
So
a visionary.
He's a visionary. And I just
look at him now.
I know, right? I'm
love
so proud of him. So proud of him and all that he's doing.
Wow. Okay, so you mentioned the company that you were working for. That was really your first introduction into branding and marketing. Because I heard you're fierce in that area as well.
Thank you so much.
And also at that time, I know you were thinking about moving to LA. So tell me, why LA, and how did that transition look?
Wow. Okay, so 2004, I met my now husband. And at the time, I was still going through that, through that phase of like figuring out what life looked like for me. And I just started working at that agency. And what I realized at the time is that, and I was still doing modeling too at the time. So I was modeling, but I just had to keep one foot in the door. Like I had to keep one foot in business. I loved business so much. And I love the aspects of creating something from nothing and seeing it on, the stores. I thought that was really fascinating. Yes. I thought it was awesome. And so at the time we were working with brands like Ampro, like the brown gel.
I remember I had me some Ampro.
Yeah, some Ampro.
And them sides together.
Yeah, the sides was licked. I love Ampro, Schwarzkopf and Hinkle, the Got to Be spray.
Big brands.
All of those brands. Yes, the company was responsible for. And at that time, it was really like nobody that looked like us who actually owned the companies. Right. And so that was just something that I put in the back of my mind. And as I was about to turn 25. I came to LA and I decided to do like a contract role with the company because I was like, I want to be able to travel and still have my job. And so that's what I did. And came to LA. So my girlfriend that I met in college, she was from LA.
Okay.
And so I came out there to visit her.
And you was like, this
And
is it.
let me tell you, I
And
came.
this early 2000s?
It was early 2000s.
wait.
It was like,
Lit.
this is, and I was 25. So it was like, bring it on. Well, honestly, the real reason I remember I was driving down La Brea and she lived on the west side. So I was driving down La Brea and La Brea, it's a pretty long slope. So once you come back down La Brea, you can actually see the entire city and the mountains. And that was the first time that I felt connected to something much larger. And I felt like that gravitational pull of like, this is where you need to be. I just went with that. So without no plan, I came home and told my family, oh, I'm moving to LA. And so I had probably about, 3 weeks before before I made the move. I packed up, moved my girlfriend for about a month, found me a place, and I was going between LA and overseas because my boyfriend at the time, which is my husband now, but he was playing basketball overseas. So I would go between LA and visit him. And after that, I was like, okay, LA is my place. So I want to find some place in beauty. And it took a minute. It took a minute because it was like, I didn't know anybody. I was coming from a small place. So like, how do you find people, right? So I just started going to some of the things that I really liked. And I ended up getting a PR job.
Okay.
And the PR job was to basically facilitate like all the celebrities through the award show gifting suite. So I would work with the celebrities, get them through the gifting suite, make sure that they're taken care of with all the different brands. So I understood like what it was like to gift us, a VIP or what have you, just from my previous job. And so one woman there was like, hey, I really like what you're doing. We really want you to work for our brand. We're up and coming. And at the time, The Rock and, oh my gosh, she had such a pretty extensive celebrity roster, but she was a nutritionist.
Okay.
And so she was in wellness. And I was like, oh my God, this is not really what I wanted, but I loved wellness. And that's how the beginning of my journey of branding started. So I worked with her, grew her business to 6 figures per month. And we did that through marketing and branding, strategic. And this was before like Instagram became what it is. And so when I I worked my way from, assistant to being the interim COO of the company. And I got let go.
Got let go. I was just about to ask you, what challenges did you face? Okay, letting go. Okay, tell me about getting let go.
I was on the edge of my bed crying because I was like, oh my God.
What did they tell you? How did the conversation go?
Oh my God, okay. So I had surgery on my foot. I had like a mass in my foot. And I was running a team at the time, and it was at her house. In the back of her house. Like, in LA, like everybody has a back house, right? Like they try to monetize that. And so the office was in the back house. So from my surgery, she wanted me to still come to the office, but I couldn't. I couldn't drive.
Heal.
I had to heal. I couldn't. So my daughter was like, oh, I was asking, hey, I got to keep my job. What do I do? They're like, no, well, you can't drive. You can't do anything. She wanted me to get dropped off at the office and just post up on her couch and like run the business from there. But I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. Let's, I can still have audio calls. I can still do this virtually. Let's do this. And And so we kind of were going back and forth, but I knew, you know, being seasoned, I knew that it was coming. I knew that she was going to probably try to let me go. So I emailed myself the paper trail of her not wanting to. And you know what she did? On March 17th, I will never forget this. On March 17th, which was St. Patrick's Day, she gave me I was fired on St. Patrick's Day. So that was her little petty way of saying, you know, this is your lucky day. So I turned that, I turned that into something that really was the best thing for me.
Yeah.
So from that, I, you know, put my big girl panties on, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna create my own, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
I created Bleum to be. I felt like so many things I was giving it to people that didn't look like us, right, or didn't look like me, and being able to navigate that world of understanding what it's like to not only serve our community, but to also give back in a greater sense. I felt like what better way to do that than to give them the resources and give them my expertise to help them become the next big box brand. And, you know, it was really the beginning of that. And now, even then, when I created it, I didn't see the vision as I do now and as I'm continuing to unfold. But that was the beginning of something really special.
Wow. And look at all of the lessons that you learned along the way. You had to go through all of it.
Yeah.
All of it. And then you're in LA. You know, we hear a lot of things about LA life, just African American women trying to make headway out there. And you started your own company based on all of the lessons that you learned in the beauty industry. Now tell me, what was the mission of Bleum? And how did you build your team out? And how are you doing today with that company?
Really good question. So the vision for Bleum was really to be that, to bridge the gap, right, of whatever that it is, whether it's needing to look like a brand that should be on the shelf or whether that was to operate like the brand that is on the shelves. My goal was to make sure that I bridged that gap because I had really learned what it looked like along the way, from being an assistant to learning from the CEOs to the CMOs. I was really able to learn and to take the experiences, and I was like headstrong on like, I can do this. One of the things about me is that I really don't look outside of myself to get the answers when it comes to business. And at the time, I was just like, I can do this. It was all in my head. I was like, I can do this. I didn't see any barriers. I didn't see any challenges. But they were plenty.
There.
They were there.
Creeping around.
And what I did is I started off small. I made my own website, okay, and my husband will actually talk about this to today. I had like cookies and macaroons, like, you know, like back in the day when stock photos actually came out so you could see the pin. I had I did my own website and I just put it up and I was like, okay, if I build it, they will come. And that's exactly what happened. At the time, you know, SEO was not really a term then, but I knew who I was going for, like who my target market was. So I just made sure that my website really addressed their needs. And they did. They came. My first client was Project Beauty Expo, and it was an expo for the multicultural audience. So it was like right up my alley, and I just took it one brand at a time. And as I was able to get more brands, I was able to build my team as a result. So today we have, I would say, 10 employees. Amazing team. They're all, and we don't have a location. We're all virtual, and that works. So we have people in Jamaica, Chicago.
Oh, wow. That virtual
Vegas.
life.
Yes.
Do you prefer?
I prefer that. Yeah. I really feel like it gives the team members like their own life. It's like my philosophy is through my experience. It's like, as long as you get your job done, we don't really care what you do and how you do it. Like if you want to work at 2:00 in the morning and you hit those deadlines, that's fine for me. Not to say that there's no work and life balance, but my point is that they can have a doctor's appointment during the day. They can do whatever that they need to do, as long as deadlines are met.
Wow, because we've heard so much about the remote work life since COVID, especially.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because you're the boss, like how to manage remote workers. And I actually quit a job, my last corporate job, because we went remote. And my boss did not know how to manage people remotely.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you picking with me now. Are you calling everybody else trying to see where they at?
It's the micromanagement of it all.
It's the micromanagement of it all.
Yeah.
That's not true.
No, it's so far from it. And I think that that's why I've been so successful in that regard, is because I know what it was like. Literally, I got fired from a job because she didn't want me to work remote.
Right.
You know, the irony of it all. So I know what it's like. I think that because I come from a space of being in that position, I really have empathy and I understand. So I operate from that. And I do a pretty easy vetting process. Like, I know who I'm working with, so I trust them. I trust the team. I'm not, Slack is our friend, we communicate via Slack. It's an app that allows you to keep, what. But,
I got you,
but these are my tools that, are able for everybody to be their own boss, really. Because my goal is that if I'm growing, they're growing too, and I know that ultimately they'll be doing their own thing ultimately, because most of the people on my team are very entrepreneurial.
Yes.
Very.
Let's talk about how much the beauty industry has changed since even when you first got into this space. A lot of people, I remember at one point starting to embrace, you've been using the word multicultural. I want to say everybody was trying to get on the black tip, right? Remember when Target is pro, black brand, everything, using the models, all the things.
Yeah.
Even in corporations, they had to embrace spending money with minority businesses. Now we have a new administration. Now DEI, all of those efforts are slowly being dismantled. Is that affecting Bleum in any kind of way?
No. If anything, it's really a reminder that I think from a business perspective, if brands are not looking at who their core audience is, we're in there, right? We're spending the most as a culture. We're creating the cultures. So if they're not really addressing that, that's really a hurt to their business, right, and their bottom line. So if anything for us, we're really champions for us to have, we're the cultural competence piece, right? So working with us allows them to really have an ear to the culture and allow them to still be culturally relevant. Any smart business would want to have that. For example, I don't want to say the brand, but there was a brand recently that had a foundation and it was really dark. It was probably the color of these curtains here. And they got a lot of scrutiny for it.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and so that was because they didn't have anyone on their team or even understand who their target audience was. They weren't listening. And so having us as a partner allows them to really understand what that looks like, or really not just us, but anybody of color, in their business, or either consulting them about what that looks like to be culturally relevant.
Okay.
So no, it's not.
Good. Are you working with influencers with your brand?
Yes.
How does that look?
It's fun. It can be nerve-wracking because, to your point about the industry, I've seen the industry go from being perm heavy to you getting relaxers to now being natural.
I'm natural, baby.
Yeah,
I'm natural.
to being natural and curls.
Yeah.
The same thing when it comes to influencers. I think now influencers are really embracing who they are, and they're coming into their own in terms of value as well. So working with influencers is fun. We try to be in a seat of making sure that we, pay them what they are valued at.
Because that has been a huge conversation circulating on the platforms.
Yeah, we really believe in supporting Black creators, Black and brown creators, and giving them an opportunity to grow their platforms while also growing our brand. So we've always been in support of that. But yeah, we've worked with some really amazing creators. A lot of them you probably know today. I try not to, name drop, but there's a lot of amazing creators. There's a lot of amazing creators that we work with, and our brands are I would say that they are quite grateful because of those creators, because without them, the awareness is limited.
Gotcha. Yeah. What I love about the creator community, people are being unapologetically, authentically themselves.
I love that.
And that's what makes it so different, because we can relate to that much better than your celebrity, over here.
I agree.
That people use all the time in the beauty industry.
Yes. And honestly, that's why I like TikTok so much, because even though I'm an aesthetic girly and I love Instagram, but TikTok really allows for the authenticity to shine through and for people to just be themselves. So I really love that.
Yes. Well, tell me about So Beauty LLC.
Okay. So Beauty is a new initiative. Okay. It's really expanding on what we're doing at Bleum. The whole idea is really to sow the seeds of our brand's legacy. Not only the brands that we work with, but the the entrepreneurs that want to be brands, right? We are putting in certain initiatives to allow them to have the resources, not only from a financial perspective, but also from education. So we're doing a lot of really awesome things to put in place starting in 2025. That will allow them to start a business and know exactly what steps to create to become profitable. And it's really e-commerce and retail driven. So for those who want to be on the retail path, then we have something for them. And for the ones who want to be e-commerce, which I'm a fan of, because in e-commerce you get to keep all your coins. But we have something for both. So more to come on that.
Oh, more to come on that. Yeah. Okay, so it's growing, it's building.
It's building.
Okay,
yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Now, I know you love decor.
I love it.
Okay, tell me about the decor life. We've talked about the beauty space. Tell me about your relationship with decor, because we have a lot of beautiful ladies that look like us in the decor game now.
Really, I'm starting to discover that. The more we live in Santa Clarita, so we have more space now, and I've been having a ball. So I'm definitely a decor girly. I love a good RH. I love a good Pottery Barn.
Yes.
I love a good CB2.
And you know what? You're in the perfect location because a lot of, I guess, the furniture business is based out of California, or you're getting it off the water, right? Yes. I had an old coworker she was a Vietnamese woman, and she had a furniture business on the side.
Yes, it's really thriving. There's alongside the fashion district, and I think LA is known for that, downtown, but there's just as great of a furniture business. And to your point, yes, it is thriving. And for me, I really just come into it because I really didn't have the opportunity before to kind of figure out or to express myself in that way. But now that I do, I'm loving it. I love to organize. So in my house, everything is color coordinated. I have a home for everything. Everything is white, black, and...
And look, are you OCD with it?
Yes.
Why?
I drive my daughter and my husband crazy because it's
cleaning up behind them.
Yes, that's me. It's really bad. Yes.
I'm sure it's beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm sure it's beautiful. And, Keyanna, you do so much, and it seems like, you're a boss out here. Let's talk about taking care of Keyanna, though. Let's talk about, on a scale of 1 to 10, just even your mental right now. Where are you?
Oh, that's a really good question. I only get that question in a doctor's office.
I'm a doctor. Dr. Esco.
A Dr. Esco. I'm really grateful. I have a beautiful 5-year-old daughter. She's amazing. She makes me literally wake up in the morning and feel like life is given. You know, she's so funny. She's so funny. Her and her cousin, Ariel's son. They're literally amazing, and I think that my life now and how I view it is all really for her. So I look at life differently. I used to be very stressed, and sometimes I still do. I mean, I run the business. I'm a Girl Scout mom, and that's like a Girl Scout keeps you super busy. I'm a room parent for her kindergarten class, and I'm always hosting and planning an event. So I keep busy. But one of the things that keeps me going is to know that I'm really doing it for her and the legacy that I'm creating for her. So that is what keeps me like even, along with a glass of wine or two.
Okay. Less stress.
Yes, less stress. But I do meditation as well. I love meditation. I even have my daughter on it. So at night, like, we obviously pray and we meditate, just to kind of, center ourselves. I find myself being more spiritually inclined, and I think that gives me balance too. Mm-hmm. So I go through life with gratitude because it could be totally different, and I know what it's like to be totally different, not having anything, struggling. I've been there, done that many times, and so I just have a heart of gratitude, and that's what keeps me mentally sane. Okay. And I stay busy.
You didn't give me your number, though.
10.
Come on, 10. Okay,
10. That's because I'm grateful.
Okay.
That is because I'm having a heart of gratitude.
Okay. Yeah. And I don't want you to stress.
Yes.
Key.
Because I have high blood pressure now.
You have high blood pressure?
I do.
Oh, so many of us have high blood pressure. I don't have it, but my husband has it. Numerous people in my family have it.
Yeah.
And it's like in the DNA too.
It is. I found out I had high blood pressure when I did Couture for the Cure. As soon as I finished that.
In Memphis.
Yeah. It was 25, well, it's more than 25 years ago.
Wow.
I found out, yeah.
You were very young when you found out.
I was very young when I found out. I was dehydrated, and I was so thin because I was working so much, and I just worked myself to exhaustion. And they said, oh, yeah, you have high blood pressure. And I'm like, what? So I got on medicine, and then ever since then, I've had it chronically. And they were like, oh, it's genetic. So thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
Look, thanks, Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
So you have to take medicine to manage, or just lifestyle change?
Both. I do still take medicine. I don't want to play until I completely manage. I've picked up weight since having my daughter, of course. Mm-hmm. So my goal is to kind of manage weight, because I believe weight corresponds with the high blood pressure when you're not stressed out. So I'm managing that, and lifestyle for sure. I try to eat healthy, but since I've been here, it's been ribs, it's been dressing, it's been greens,
you gotta get all of that
it's been mac and cheese, and I'm loving it,
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Keyanna, I want you to tell the verbally effective audience, especially those that are wanting to get into the beauty space, maybe here in Memphis, may not be here in Memphis, but they're thinking about making a transition to an LA or to New York, a bigger market, and they want to be in the beauty space. So what advice do you have for them in 2024 as we approach 25?
You know what? I would say, if you dream it, do it. Take it one step at a time. I think nowadays, when they see social media and they see what other people are doing, it could be kind of, it could be handy. I think it could handicap people seeing what they see on social media, but social media is not all what it appears to be. So just focus on what it is that you want to do in beauty, and I would say do your research. Do your research for who your target market is. Do the research of how much money you will need to thrive past 1 year, because I believe that in the first year, that's when most businesses give up. But if you can really set yourself up, save money to forecast what you would need for the first year, do that and make connections. And I'm happy to give my information and ask questions, learn from that. And really that's the beginning stages. I mean, to be honest with you, it's really no cookie cutter way of building a business. Everybody's journey is different, and that's what I had to learn. But if you just take one step at a time, my favorite quote is by MLK, and it's like, if you may not know the whole staircase, but if you take the first step, it'll be revealed, right? And I believe that that's really all you have to do. Just take the first step, do your research, save up money.
Yes, save that money, honey.
Save them coins, because we don't know what's happening in 2025.
Hey, did you get some crypto? Did you make any gains in the crypto?
I did not, but my sister just told me I needed to get with the program. So,
yes,
so I am now like, okay, I got to get my crypto game together.
Right, because we have like Elon Musk as shadow VP right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's all into crypto and anything innovative.
He is, yes. And I think that the best advice too, because I'm even doing that myself, is just getting into business will be a great protection. Because I think with where things are going now, business and all the things that this new president will put into place will allow businesses to thrive.
You think so?
I think so.
Well, that's a good thing.
And not an LLC, which is why I was telling you. With So Beauty, I'm even restructuring that. But I think if you
Tell me why.
So this takes a little bit of time to kind of unpack. But the idea is that now LLCs are really just you as the individual. The government sees it as such. So if you go through a corporation, you're able to protect your assets in that way. And if you take it a step further, you do that through a trust. So you make that trust so that way the business can stay private, and you can also gain more tax exemptions that way as well. So being a C, and typically for most people that are starting, it's like an S Corp. That's the best way, and to get a trust. So that's what I would recommend.
Okay, I'm going to remember that.
Yes.
With my LLC over here.
Yeah, change it.
The government sees me as just
as Ena, yeah. And so you no
and
longer.
oftentimes I am.
No, totally.
Seriously.
Yeah. I think, before a lot of the most recent things that have been put in place, we all went to an LLC because it made sense. But now I think C Corp, or excuse me, a C, depending on where you are in business. But for those that are starting out, S Corp for sure.
Gotcha.
And get a trust. And put the trust as the beneficiary.
Yeah, because they're not going to be suing me. They're going to be suing my company.
And they can't get nothing.
And you can't get nothing.
As a trust.
Okay. See, Keyanna, we're going to have to talk further about that and go into a little more detail on another episode.
Oh, yes.
Because of time. But I loved your advice for aspiring entrepreneurs that want to take that step. And I asked you that because you're actually like my 301st person I've interviewed on this podcast.
What?
And most of the people are from Memphis. Mm-hmm. So many people from Memphis have moved away to start, their journey, their dreams, and they've been so successful. So I love the advice that you gave. I love listening to your story today. It is very inspirational. And I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you so much.
And look, before we go, though, we're going to play a little quick game called This or That.
Okay.
Real quick. I'm just going to give you 3.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you to choose one thing or the other, and you're going to have to tell me a quick why.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Let's kick it off. Memphis or Los Angeles?
Oh. Memphis, because it's home.
Okay. I got you. Okay, and when it comes to the beauty space, do you enjoy working with creators more or celebrities?
Creators.
Okay.
Because they're real.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever had like a like an unfriendly or a not so great situation with a celebrity?
Yeah, but to be honest with you, I think that when you get to know some celebrities, they are good. They're good people. It's just like they have a lot of like, you know, layers in between them that makes them feel so far removed, but they're really not. I've had more brand founders and creators be a-holes too, you know? So
Yeah.
I think it's just the person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last one. If you could live in one of these worlds, creating in this space every day, would it be beauty or would it be in the decor?
Ooh, that's a really good one. Do I have a...
One or the other.
But you know what? I believe that my life purpose is beauty. And I don't mean it superficially. I just mean that beauty in how people are treated and beauty in how you live and lifestyle. So I would say beauty from a broader perspective is that I'm here to show beauty in many facets. So yes, that would include decor, organization, and all of that. So yes,
Gotcha.
beauty.
See, I didn't stump you too hard, Keyanna.
No, it wasn't too bad.
I love it though. But I want to thank you so much for joining me today on the Verbally Effective podcast. You are indeed verbally effective first and foremost.
Okay.
And I love what you're doing in the beauty space. And you're going to inspire so many people to really pursue their goals and their dreams, Keyanna.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
look, they may be hitting you up on social media like, hey, can I move in with you if I come to LA
Now listen,
for a month?
hey, I've had friends to do that.
Have you?
Yes.
I love that because the cost of living there is just so much more.
Yes, I have. When I first moved to LA, I lived in Beverly Hills, and I had friends to come stay with me, and so have I. I've stayed with them when I first moved out there.
I love it.
I think that's just a part of the journey, you
Yeah.
know, figuring out where you want to live. LA is so big. But yeah, I've had it. But yeah, hit me up, y'all. I don't know about staying, but I'll give you as much advice as I can.
Okay.
And I thank you so much. This has been
Yes.
amazing. I feel like we only touched the surface. So
Right. We
when
could
I'm
talk all
back, we
night.
have to do more.
Yeah, we may do some virtual.
I love that.
We may do some
I'm
virtual.
all good for a good Zoom.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get it in.
I'm on
in
Zoom
25.
all throughout the week. So
I know you are.
Yes.
I know you are. Well, I want you to let everybody with the Verbally Effective audience know how they can continue to follow your journey, any information you want to share.
Okay, y'all, I'm not on social. I feel like we deal with social so much. I personally don't have, well, I do have a channel. If you want to follow me, you can via business. It's Bleum Creative. It's BLEUM Creative. And you can also find us at bloomcreative.com.
Yes, they're going to hit you up, girl. They're gonna
And
hit
please
you up.
feel free. I just say, in the subject line, just say Memphis, Maine. And I'll be able to know who
Come
you
on,
are.
Memphis, man.
Okay?
That's that North Memphis coming out of Keyanna.
Just say Memphis, Maine, and I'll tell my team to get it to me. So,
I love
okay?
it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much, Keyanna
Thank you so
Sawyer-Jones,
much for
the
having me.
founder and CEO of Bleum Creative. I really enjoyed you today
Thank you.
on the Verbally Effective podcast. I wish you the best of luck. And for all of you out there in Verbally Effective land, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button on all streaming platforms.